Hello, my name is Dominic Underhallhouse and welcome to another episode of Moonbreaker. In today's episode, you might be able to tell we're back on the experimental build to have a look at some of the things that we can do on here. So, last time we were here, we had a little look around and we just tried a few things out. And what we're going to look at doing this time is trying to get to use the new units. So this is actually a different version to the last time we were on here. They've removed the two more expensive units, which were Dr. Feelbad and Crash, and we've been limited now to Turncoat. We've got Noxy and we've got Flurry. Now, out of these, at least one of these, I think has got a good chance of becoming a really powerful potential unit, and so far that one's Flurry. So what I've been thinking with Flurry, in the list I've played so far, I'm going to play some more games, but when it takes damage, deal 2 damage to all units in range with Resilient. So what this means, if you have this next to the opposing captain, and you hit, you punch them, say it's an Extilior, you punch Extilior, they hit back, they take another 2, so that's 3 damage, and you're down to 8 health. So that's all good, that's about all you can expect. It's a 6 drop, it's not that special. But things that we're not going to be trying necessarily all of them, but some of these in the video. Flurry Lancer. You deal 3 damage to the enemy captain, you hit Flurry, but because it's got Resilient, it only deals 2. Flurry attacks again. So that's 5 damage that Flurry's done to the captain in one turn. If you can add in something like a Detonia, a Shrapnel, a Beatris, you can easily activate enough things to get Flurry up to dealing something like, 7 damage, 9 damage in one turn. And at 6 Cinder, it's an expensive cost. You need to keep it alive, but with Resilient, it's going to be fairly easy to do so until the next turn. And from there, you just get to start churning out damage if you can get this onto the enemy captain. So that's something that I really think is worth looking at. The roster that we've got so far, so I might be looking at, we're keeping Beatris on here, we're keeping Shrapnel on here for exactly that reason. Rickety Backfire works as well. Stimburst and Plink do the same sort of thing. So all in all, I think this is fun. We're going to use all of the new characters as well, but I really wanted to just give this a shot. So I'm going to go versus AI because I think in this current build, there's currently issues with matchmaking. You have to enter private games if you want to do it, but we're going to try out more things in AI and have a look at some of the different, the battle conditions, the map setups and that sort of thing. If you've been enjoying the content, please do hit that subscribe button. It would really mean the world to me. I want to keep pushing for when this new content does release, so now we know it's going to be a little bit later. I want to have at least hit 200 subs before the new content releases. We've now got loads of things set up, like the Patreon, the Twitch. We've got loads of different tools to go with, so I'd love it if you could just check those out. But most importantly, let's just jump into these games and have a bit of fun. We know that the assist system isn't staying the same. So the assist system is going to be different to this. The most recent version that we've heard of is going to be a charge system, and you basically, whatever the cooldown is now, it's 5 minus the cooldown is how many times you can use each assist, and there's going to be at least a 1 turn delay here. For some reason this looks different. I don't know if this normally looks as blue. Okay, we can choose our start position, so this one isn't the biggest start position choice. Sometimes there's a much bigger area. I still love that this is a whole fallen statue if people haven't noticed. Sometimes they don't. We're just going to pop ourselves down here. Sometimes it takes a minute, but there we go, we've got Astra. So we're just going to be looking at playing with new things. These up here, the battlefield conditions, we're going to look at once we've got into the game. It's weird not having the assist screen anymore. So we've got health. The first crew you deploy in a turn gains 1 health, active for 3 turns. Ranged attacks have minus 10% accuracy. And at the end of your turn, restore 2 health to your captain and crew if you didn't attack. So I'm assuming that didn't attack with each individual unit. Actually, I'm not sure this line down here that goes all the way through it is always there. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm just being a bit strange. Also, I really do like that this is now blue instead of grey. It just looks a little bit cleaner to me. We'll just take this hit. We're going to hit this, it's fine. Yeah, we go. Yeah. The 10 bridge size as well is so nice. Maximus being 2 Cinder now is one of the test ones, and with 1 extra health. Deadeye being down to 1 attack but 7 health, so that's another interesting change as well. I don't remember if any of the others here were changed. No, these all seem pretty reasonable, so we'll just end the turn here. But not having that 1-drop range unit is quite interesting. I think that's quite a big change here. So the assists are basically worthless as it stands. Occasionally there might be something to do, but not here. These actually just feel relatively useless. Like, Max is still good, Eztli's good, but I'm going to go with Beatris. The reason I want to go with Beatris is because I do want to try and give Noxy a bit of a shot. Maybe we should have done a Cinder Orb here, actually. We could have played Noxy next turn. But we're just going to build up things that work well with Noxy. So this is 4. We'd have 4 again next turn if you played it, so can't go all out on what we want. Interesting enough, the AI isn't moving. How we got a crit? So we'll grow a Cinder back here, see if we can save it. And just pass the turn, because we want to get out Flurry and try that out. I said Noxy, but I meant Flurry. Okay, there comes Switchback with extra health. So is this now the end of this one? Yes, so now we're on to range attacks having reduced accuracy. Which is obviously not ideal, but... Wow, another crit. Yep, take all the damage here. And now... Oh, we already have Maximus Cinder. Oh, I should actually maybe just into the breach this then. So let's just Flurry over here. It's interesting versus Switchback as well, because we don't take that much damage. And then... That sounded cool. Is it everyone to their station? Have we got subtitles turned on this? Audio? I don't know. I don't know where the subtitles... It must be just in settings, right? Yeah, subtitles. I didn't notice the subtitles, so maybe I'm just being a bit dim. And let's pop Rickety out as well, because Rickety can help, really churn out the damage. So if we can find a way to get Flurry into something next turn, we can really just start churning out some damage. Oh, that was a mistake, putting those that near. Okay, so we might actually have to change things a little bit. So I think I've gone wrong with Rickety. So Rickety needs to move back. Flurry can move in here. I love that. He's also really small. I didn't realise how small he was. Do we get an angle where we can hit him? No. Well, this is a terrible shame. We've messed this right up. Let's just go with Shrapnel then.
Troubleshooter here.
I kind of just wish we could deal more damage. We'll just arm this, I suppose. But yeah, even exploding this doesn't do anything because we went too near. Maybe we'll try next turn. If they move out of position, we might be able to, like, say, move Beatris over here and get in that angle. Or even just find something else to float. Yeah, this works. See, look at that. We hit back, that's good. I kind of want them to move with Shrapnel. Are you kidding? We can't even quite fit there, so... I just wish we could fit round slightly. You know what we might be able to do? What if we put this here and move this over here? This might actually be enough for us to get hit. So if Beatris hits here, yeah, so then we're going to hit this and hit it again. And then going to churn out more damage, yeah. And then... Oh, we're going to be slightly too far for Rickety, but... Yep, we're not too far for Shrapnel. So Shrapnel comes here, gets this hit, we hit, and then we do another 2 damage. And then obviously we can bring Rickety, but this is awesome. Like, I really think that Flurry might have a place in the meta. Like, it's AoE, it's fast, it can really, like, end a captain quickly, and with the amount of health it's got, this is going to burn things down really fast. Also, interesting enough, on this map, no objectives here, no additional spawns or anything. This was just a vanilla kill the captain match. So it's not always going to be, that varied. I love the way it falls apart, but this still hurts my eyes, I will be completely honest. It genuinely does make me feel a little bit queasy. This needs to go away. Yeah, okay. I don't like that at all. I'll be completely clear on that front. Also, when I was in a conversation with one of the devs talking about the experimental build the other day, we were talking about this being victory points from objectives, this being from kill the captain, and this was very obviously not mentioned. So I asked, is this a potential bounty system, the one we were talking about before? And the question was completely avoided. Like, wasn't even answered whatsoever. So there's something here that may not be what we expect. It might be, but it might not. Also, I love that you see the banners here as well. So we're going to hit play again and see what happens. I don't think I've hit the play again button yet. We're loading into something. Let's see what goes ahead. I really do think this is very entertaining, to be able to see all these things in action. Okay, so this is the one with the central victory point worth 3 points. This is such a hard one to hold because the way it works at the moment, it's not about outnumbering your opponent, it's about making sure that nobody has anything in there. So we're just going to deploy as aggressively as possible. all the way to the front. Because why not? If they do the same. Okay, so they're obviously going first. They're moving before it's even started. So what we've got here, range attacks have less accuracy, lower chance to crit. The first crew we deploy gains charge eventually. That's pretty interesting. This has got a pretty low modifier, so we'll go for that, and we'll probably just pop a Cinder Roll down here so we can still take it next turn. So obviously we're not going to be able to hold this, they're going to move into this. Yeah, even if they weren't trying to do anything else. You see it's gone red, that means we no longer hold it. And if we did hold it, down here, for anyone that was wondering, this little section here is where the points show up. So we're just going to take that shot first because it's guaranteed. Move back over here. And honestly, I think we're just going to play Beatris over here. I love that little animation now, it's super sweet. Given that both of these are a bit more expensive, I actually don't hate the idea of just growing another Cinder somewhere and trying to maybe go for that instead. We'll just be greedy and see if we can get to a really early Flurry, because that's what we're here for. We want to play Flurry games. So the other options here are Turncoat, which basically can steal crew permanently. What's going on here? So basically you immobilise a crew, but if they can't find a way out of it or kill your Turncoat, you literally just gain control of their crew for the rest of the game. And then Noxy is another resilient unit, but when it takes damage, we create a Toxoid, which is frankly awesome. Hang on. How has this ended up... Oh no, it wasn't further... No, I placed it there. For a second there I thought it was further away. So we're going to pick this up. Can we... I mean, we're not going to be able to deploy where I want to. No, so... I think we still deploy over here. And see if we can hit. No, not quite. We can't guarantee a hit onto it. So let's go with this because we don't take any damage back, and it has a more chance of hitting that. There we go. But if we get a good positioning, we might be able to squeeze around. Who knows? But this really does just make things a bit more interesting with like objectives that we have to work around. So here, because they can always have something in the objective, we're never going to be able to score anything other than, exactly what we normally would, kill the captain. So while this has 3 VP, there's no world in this where this ends up actually being a 3 VP one. Like a VP victory. So what we are going to do here though, is we can move Flurry back here. Yeah, because if we do Flurry here, 1 hit, and we get the kill. Oops, I didn't mean to hit our Beatris, but that's fine. So we'll go for his attack here. We've got 4 Cinder, so I actually think Turncoat could be interesting here, because there's a world in which we can actually just deal with that and they can't. So let's try Turncoat out and see if we can steal something like their Maximus maybe. Catch me if you can. Because it basically, it's not a big range, so maybe we have to try and steal Jailbreak, but if they do this, we'll take Jailbreak. Oh, we need to move Turncoat for that. Oh my god, this is so cool. Okay, we killed our Turncoat. It doesn't matter, but we did a bunch of damage to Extilio. Oh, that's so funny. More damage back again. I love this. This is great. We've absolutely churned through their life totals here. Oh, things have charge now. So I guess if things have charge... I mean, there's no point in doing Rickety here. This is going to die, unless we have something that deals 1 damage to it. Which I don't think we do. So I think now we just go for all the damage. Okay, so we now know for certain that doesn't give you a second activation, that's fine. Okay, so this isn't going to do anything much, unless we play Rickety out. So Rickety at 3 cost now is interesting. We can play it so that the explosion would hit there, and we can still just try and burn Extilio. So if we get this explosion, we do not. But with it having charge, we can run away.
One win, one bug.
Sure, we'll just pop a Deadeye down here. We might as well attack, we've got more health. Got a crit, nothing else to do though. So the thing as well, the captain's having 25 health in this version. It's so interesting because it actually does make a difference. Like, we've pushed so much damage through onto Extilior and he's still at 12 health. So that what I find interesting about that is it kind of just gives you a feeling that, like, things like Flurry is a huge way of getting damage through, because getting to that late game and having a way of ending it is super important. So now we can actually do that far easier. I don't like Deadeye being one attack. This feels wrong to me. So genuinely, I think Deadeye should even be a one drop at this rate. We'll just pop over here and do this. Beatris can just come in and take a little stab. We'll do the same here. Now, what have we got to deploy? I mean, we could just go Noxy. Why not? Let's place Noxy here. Get our attack in, because it's got charged, if you remember, and we'll get a free Toxoid. And the Toxoid trapped us in place. Are you joking?
No one gets me either.
We'll arm this. Oh, that's super sad. We're still in a great spot. We've got 18 health. Like, it looks like we've lost a good chunk of health, which we have, but in a normal game, that's literally the amount of health you start with. So, I don't feel like we're going to lose this game, but it feels very different. Like, the game being this much slower, it makes a huge difference to how the game feels. So, like, everything seems to, like, basically the crew seem very, like, what's the word? Transient, as in, like, they come and go, they disappear in a hurry. Whereas the captains, you know, they feel a lot more resilient, and it doesn't, not much has changed, but a few different things here and there have made that difference. So, funnily enough, our Toxoid here is just going to help us kill this. It doesn't quite die, but we can bring in Deadeye here for this. And then we can just, oh, we know we don't actually have another Toxoid yet, but we're just going to go here, I guess. There's no good lines other than this. Go for the hits. What do we have to finish this off? And we could just place Eztli here. Eztli works if we just place like a Shrapnel somewhere else. Get this hit. Hey, oh, we've cycled back. I could have just into the breach. I didn't know that. I didn't realise these cycle back again, actually. So let's just, in this case, just move back and take a hit. Yep, end the turn here. So again, things are so much slower under this, like with the new captain health. Like, I feel like because I've got used to like the tempo of games, it feels like Extilior should have been dead a while ago, like a long time ago. But we're actually having to play the objective still. And then this buff's here. Yep, there we go. So I actually think this format is a big boost to Extilior as well, though, because Extilior's main thing is that, you know, you die on the way running towards someone. 5 extra health slows that down so much. Like, this game feels like it's lasted more turns, I've got to use more units. The crew dying feels relevant, but not, you know, game breaking. I love it. So there's no point in doing anything too wasteful here. Kill them with our new unit. There we go. We get this horrific victory screen. I'm not sure I like that little text thing either. It felt a little bit unnecessary. But this bit here is, yeah, genuinely uncomfortable to look at. But in general, loving this. We've got a little portrait, we've got recoil. Okay, so go for one more. This time we will try and get Turncoat without actually killing our own Turncoat using Flurry. But it does show that, you know, Flurry is actually something you can use against your opponents as well. But of all the 3 units we played so far, that's the one that really does feel the most impactful to me. It's like the fact that you can just, like, the name lives up to, you know, what you'd expect as well. It really does feel like you can set up a little flurry of attacks, and the positioning really helps. We're going to go north because I like being able to hide behind this hard cover. But yeah, like, Flurry is my favourite out of these 3. I think it's a really cool unit to build around as well. It does give value to the AoE effects as well. So, we don't have a 1-drop here, which is a shame. Oh no, they've got line of sight there. And they got it, of course. So I mean, we take our hit back. Of course we miss. I guess we just jump here. Grow a cinder back here so we can deploy onto that next turn. So we're going to go for this, and if we can get there quick enough and deploy something big in the front, we can actually stop them having access to hitting this, and we can try and win through victory points. So it is a legitimate win con. It's something that people need to bear in mind. Okay, I'm glad they didn't hit that. We will take our shot though, just in case. Can we hit this? No, of course not. Okay, so here, even though we're trying to play out Turncoat, I actually just want to deploy Shrapnel as far forward as possible to make it really difficult for them to try and take this away from us. Because what we want to do is try and see if we can score a win through victory points. So if we're the only unit on this, it's going to be 4 turns because it's 3 VP and it's first to 10. But if that's the case, we're absolutely doing a good spot here. So this is just restore health if we don't attack, that's fine. So now because we can get this onto here, we can start putting damage onto this and actually start trying to block things in over here, which is really what we want to be doing. Take those big shots. We're going to have Force Cinder for Turncoat next turn anyway, so I kind of just feel like we need something to deal with this Beatris. So what better to deal with a Beatris than a Beatris? Can this fit through? Oh, it's actually just super trapped. Okay, so we're just going to play our Beatris to deal with their Beatris. And I guess grow a Cinder there. We'll make them attack it. We can actually just put it behind us, can't we? And just make it harder for them to hit. There we go. So now we've got armoured units blocking different routes. And if you see down here, this little number 3, we've got 3 victory points and they don't have any. So we're just going to try and clear up the routes that they have in. So again, here we just want to move slightly back just to not be in melee range so that we can still block them in, but just take these shots through. We'll take this shot to try and get the kill. Move in here to pick up some Cinder. And now we can play Turncoat. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to play Turncoat over here behind Beatris. So to do that, I'm going to move Beatris up first. And I'm just going to play Turncoat to one side so that we should hopefully be able to move and take it. And I'm going to activate Stim Burst just to make sure we've got the range next turn. So this should in theory show us 2 things at once. Next turn we're going to start with 9 VP, so we probably want to even move off the objective maybe. Or even just block them off of it. And then we can potentially take hold of their Beatris as well.
Your fear smells.
So we do this and they're immobilized. So I've heard that you can actually move away from this and then move back in range and that still works, but... So interesting enough, we could wait a turn. I actually don't think that's too bad of an idea just to try out the ownership there. So I kind of want to come off of this objective, so I want to deploy something first. We'll deploy like Eztli over here to keep blocking in Zax. We'll take a shot, and we're going to come off of this objective just so we don't score 3 points this turn. Because we want to test out Turncoat. But then if we did stay on there, if they weren't on there by the end of this turn, we'd actually win the game. So we'll do that next turn and go for that approach on then. But here, we're going to get a free Beatris, which is a ridiculously cool effect. Like, they have to kill a 6 health unit, but if you can find a good position for it, especially if you've got like a defense dome down or something like that, it's going to be really hard to do. Yep, so this is obviously an easy way of... Oh, they didn't... I keep forgetting the AI never seems to use switch it up. Yep, this is fine. So on our turn, if they don't deploy onto here, we gain stuff, we can potentially kill whatever's on here, and then we're looking at maybe even just winning the game the next turn through victory points. Yep, this is all fine. As far as I'm aware, that doesn't just give it to the opponent or anything. We've got the attack. Crit's pretty unfortunate, but we can still block this off, and we get ourselves a Beatris. So we actually now just have 2 Beatrices. And like, there's no difference, it's just our Beatris, that's it. There's no downside or anything like that, it's just we own that unit.
I'll make him proud.
And also, I've noticed in one of the other games we played that it doesn't even go away if our unit dies, it literally just lives there. That's it now. So here, because we've got multiple things, we're just going to put more units down if we can. So I'm just going to put like a Deadeye down here to block it off, and then preferably something... Have we got any big base? We've got Rickety, but it's not a good big base, but still. Let's just go with this. Place all these things down here. We could place a Cinder Orb. Oh, we can actually move over here as well. and just keep on this.
Smacks.
I'm even going to just deploy a Cinder Orb over here to make it even harder for them to move us in a way that takes us off the objective. So, in theory, if this all goes to plan, at the start of our turn, we just win because we've held this for 3 VP to hitting a maximum of 10, and the only thing that scores that many otherwise is killing the captain. So, we'll see how this goes, but in theory, this should be a win. I'm looking forward to seeing if it works. But if you haven't checked it out, really you should look at these experimental things. I've heard a few people say they're not sure about these things up here, and honestly, I think I agree. I'm not sure these battle conditions are... I don't think they're the way that I want things to progress. There's enough going on the battlefield at the moment to keep it interesting without these sort of random conditions. I think these would be really fun for an event, but I don't think we need them in the regular gameplay, because it's just really bizarrely impactful without any sort of... Yeah, it doesn't feel like it's sort of skill rewarding or necessary or anything like that. It's just, if you get the one that times well with your curve, it's going to be good for you. If not, you won't. So like there's one where you just get no chance to crit, which is fine, but okay, the AI seems to be really struggling here. I'm actually starting to think, is the AI going to time out? Because normally, okay, they are going to make a choice. That's the longest I've seen the AI take to make a choice at all. And that's one of the reasons we put that orb there, so they didn't struggle. Basically, they couldn't push us back as far. I genuinely think the AI might be struggling to make a decision here, which is quite a bizarre feeling, but it is what it is. Like, I'm not going to give this up because I really want to show you like the victory for the third game, and you know, they're obviously AI games. It's not the best. It's not the best representation of how this would play.
How would you like it?
Okay, there comes Noxy, and okay, so there's not going to be many decisions left to make here is the thing. So this is pretty reasonable. Oh, have they actually changed this pillar? But yeah, we win now. There we go. It didn't show us sort of the animation for it, but yeah, there we go. We've reached 10 victory points. We've scored that, and we win the game entirely based on that without even taking out the enemy captain. And all we had to do there was just control the board for long enough. Yeah, we use things to block access to the control point. And I think in this situation it's where things like Chuck and Co come in. So yeah, we made it all the way up to 12 victory points here. So this has been a really fun thing. We actually got to steal a unit fully. We made a Toxoid. We got some attack buffs. We've seen how Flurry works. Out of all of these, Turncoat I think could have a place, but you have to be in good control of the game anyway. And I don't think, you know, if you can take one unit, it probably is borderline close to ending the game, because essentially you've just killed something. Like if you just go against a melee list and you use that, they can't get a melee range of you anyway because it immobilises them unless they've got an assist. So, you know, there are situations where I actually think that could be ridiculously strong, and I think we probably will see a few bits of it here and there. But Flurry is the one that I want to keep an eye out for, because Flurry seems to be absolutely insane in terms of damage output if you build the right list around it, and it gives things like Detonia a bit more purpose, because if a Detonia attack is suddenly dealing 4 damage when Captain's health are 25, you can really start ticking up that additional value. And a lot of the time, because the AoEs do 2 damage, I'm almost thinking of Flurry as being like 6 Cinder to deal 10 extra damage. That's going to be how it works if you build your list around it and you can position well. And it's worrying that your opponent's got a position where they don't even want to deal with your unit, because if they hit it, they're going to take damage back. It's like a Broken Vengeance situation, but you know, escalated even further. So I think there's so many exciting things on this. I really think I'd recommend checking it out if you're interested. There's, like I said, we've got the new units on here. We've got the new maps. Oh, not new maps, sorry. The new like map layouts. We've got the victory points. We've got the battlefield conditions. We've got different balance patches, especially when we're talking about things like good old Maximus, who on here at the moment has been reduced to, was changed to 2 Cinder and gone to 5 HP. So there's so many different things to try out, and this gives you a really good idea of what's happening with Moonbreaker moving forward. So if you've enjoyed this video, please do go ahead and sign up for the experimental server first of all. Or just, you don't have to sign up, you literally just change it in your settings. There's a blog post telling you exactly how to do it. Then make sure you hit the subscribe button, like the video, comment, all of that stuff. Head over to the Patreon if that's something you'd like to do. Most importantly, with all of that in mind, have a good day.